cardio twice a day, low carb diet, CrossFit class, supplements, still making no progress. You're doing too much. And here's why boiling your health and fitness regimen down to the compound essentials is going to be what transforms your body and health. What's going on? My name is Monta Hardin, personal trainer, strength and conditioning, and sports nutrition coach since 2017. Over that time, we've worked with over 500 men, helping them drop stubborn body fat, build lean muscle, improve their health, and get to where they need to be. And our focus has always been doing it in the easiest way possible. Now, we want to get to the outcome. We want to make substantial change, but we want to do it in a way that disrupts our clients' lifestyles the least. Our clients are parents, they're business owners, they manage dozens, hundreds, thousands of employees. We cannot build a regimen that makes them have to hyper focus on everything in their health and fitness just to get in shape. A, it's not really that effective. And B, it's definitely not that practical. But I find that so many people, a lot of the guys that come to me are usually not guys that aren't doing anything. A lot of the time, they're throwing anything at the wall and seeing what'll stick. They're running themselves into the ground. They're eating the craziest or skimpiest diets ever. Like, it's always doing too much. One big thing that we do with them, and what I want to do in this video, is help you figure out what matters the most, why your high effort and output isn't getting you the same input that you want, and ultimately how to prioritize the right things so that you can actually add time to your plate and get where you need to be. Just like my client Hal, when he came to us, he was training 6-7 days a week. He was super rigid with his diet, eating boiled chicken and spinach and brown rice, I believe, 2 or 3 times a day. Just like the typical, like you could tell that, listen to bodybuilders or fitness influencers saying that this is what you need to eat. And this is how he was eating, and he absolutely hated it, and he still was making no progress. So one of the biggest shifts we made was actually to scale his training back from 6 days a week to 3 to 4 days a week. We added food to his diet, and he dropped 10 pounds of body fat and multiple inches around the waistline and felt 10 times better energetically in about 2 months. That's all it took in order for him to see progress that he had been beating a wall trying to get to, and it was eluding him. That's because getting your body in shape is not just more, higher intensity. At a certain point, you hit a threshold where more is no longer a benefit, but then it becomes a detriment. And then the more you stack on top of that more, if you already training 6 days a week, and then you have a super restrictive diet, and then you're doing a million supplements, and then you're doing hormones, like, you're not going to get to where you need to be because you're just doing too much. One of the reasons training so frequently is so ineffective for the vast majority of people is because A, you don't have enough time to adequately recover from the training. If you're training intensely 6 days a week, there's no way that you're doing that and then you've got a full-time job, you've got kids, or you've got maybe stuff that you do after work, after you get off work. There's no way that you are not severely sacrificing your sleep. There's no way that you are getting in the nutrients necessary. You're doing the sauna, you're doing the myofascial release. Like, you're not doing the type of things. You're training at the level of a professional athlete, but then you're going and sitting at a desk for 8-9 hours a day, or sitting in cars or airports or airplanes for large chunks of your day, and you're expecting your body to be able to hold up to a 6-7 day a week regimen just because you want to get it done fast. All that's going to do is cause you to not be able to recover from it, and that's why you might experience in the beginning you get a big uptick in energy because you're finally moving your body. But as you continue to do it, your energy just gets lower and lower, and you start getting weaker and weaker. And then that's where a shoulder starts catching, a knee starts catching. That's where your back is starting to tighten up a little bit, or you're starting to be dead tired when your alarm goes off because your body is not recovering. If you are not a professional athlete, or if you are not a bodybuilder, or a strongman, where this is your job, you probably do not have the time or resources to dedicate to the recovery required to truly be training 6 days a week and legitimately getting something from it. So scaling that training back to an amount that you can actually recover from, so that when you go into the next workout, you're not operating at 50%, you're operating at 100%, so that you can actually get stronger, so that you can actually improve your performance, is going to be one of the best things that you can do. I promise you, 3 workouts at 100% of your true effort is way better than 6 workouts that were an average of 50% of your true effort, because you were, dragging yourself through them every single day, or because you're training 6 days a week, you have to train this kind of hit hybrid cycle of training, and you're not really getting stronger. You're just doing cardio with the weights. That's where so many guys' sticking point is with training that way and thinking that because that you're sweating more, because your heart rate is up, because you can do it every day, that this is what's going to get you results. But I promise you, if you do not feel the need to recover muscularly, like if you're not sore the next day, I'm not saying you should always be sore, but if you're not sore regularly, at least once or twice a week in certain muscle groups, if you don't feel it the next day in certain muscle groups, then that means that you're not adequately tearing down and rebuilding that muscle tissue. So every time you go in the gym, you're basically just doing a cardio session, which is probably stripping off that lean muscle mass, which is the opposite of what we want if we want to be dropping body fat. One of the next things that I see all the time is doing too much with the diet. So you know that you want to get healthier, you want to get in better shape. And instead of looking at our biggest offenders, hey, I eat out all the time. Maybe I need to, try to, instead of eating out twice for lunch and dinner, maybe just eat out for lunch since I'm going to be super busy, but make sure that I cook every single dinner and that it's high quality. Instead of having that thought process, it's, hey, I eat out a lot. So I'm going to cut it cold turkey. I'm going to cook every single meal and I'm going to bring my meal prep to lunch. And it sounds good in theory. I promise you it sounds good in theory, but in actual practice, going from one to the other rarely works. Food is a very habitual thing. The vast majority of us only eat about 5 to 10 different meals in general. So like whether it's healthy, clean food, whether it's junk food, we only eat about 5 to 10 meals. If you're on the pickier side, you're closer to 5. If you got a little bit more variety, you probably are closer to about 10 different meals that you'll regularly grab within maybe a week or a couple of week time frame. So understanding that means that you have to understand that you got to ease yourself in to making changes in your diet, because you need it to stick long enough to become habitual. You can meal prep and do the chicken and rice, and you can do your morning smoothie, and you can do all this stuff, like completely try to overhaul your diet. But because you haven't had enough time for it to be habitual, when you inevitably burn out in a week, you haven't had enough time built in. You haven't had enough time in the trenches with that style of diet or with those particular foods. And then you wash it all out, and now you're starting back at zero the next Monday. But it's much more sustainable to say, hey, I eat, right now I'm eating 3 terrible meals. If I can just eat, 1 good meal every single day, that'll make me some great progress. I'm going to make that breakfast. I have a lot of control over my breakfast. I'm going to make sure that I get a high protein breakfast, get some fiber in there, get some healthy probiotics with some Greek yogurt, something like that. Take my supplements, my, multivitamin if I take something like that. Like really make sure that you hone in on one thing, master that for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, until it's like, okay, now my habitual breakfast is completely different from what it used to be. Now let's move on to lunch. Lunch is tricky. I have meetings with clients. I'm usually on the go. I'm usually having to get some fast food. So now, instead of trying to completely reinvent that, because my schedule is my schedule and my lifestyle is my lifestyle, let me figure out some healthy takeout options that are near me. Let me type in my zip code, see some restaurants that are there, and let me see what's available for me. Let me start getting those options. So I'm still gonna eat takeout because my schedule is just that way, and I don't have the time to cook and prep, but I can get healthier alternatives probably at the restaurants that I already go to, or some restaurants that are close by that I probably always pass and never think about, and do that for 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. And then before you know it, You got a dialed in lunch, a habitual lunch where we've flipped what we go and get for lunch, and now we go and get something completely different. So now we got a different breakfast and a different lunch. We've built and ingrained those habits one by one by one by one, and that is a much, much better approach than trying to go cold turkey, like cutting everything off day one, trying to flip it and have this fantastic diet the next day, because you have to sustain it long enough for it to become a part of your 5 to 10 recipe rotation. And if you're willing to do that, then you'll make amazing progress without feeling like you're restricting yourself and starving yourself. And then last but not least, I think probably, and this is more of a mental framework or mental model, but one of the things that I feel that most men are struggling with in their health when they're trying to get healthier is just chasing weight loss. Chasing weight loss in the sense that you're willing to do whatever to see a lower scale number. That means if you don't eat for a day, you just want to fast for the purpose of weight loss, or you're just, plugging a bunch of cardio, or you're, just trying to, you just want to do whatever will make the number on the scale lower the fastest, so that you can get that instant gratification, so that you can get that dopamine hit from the lower scale number, not realizing that the things that make you lose weight fast are throttling your metabolism, because your body is not designed to lose weight fast. It's designed to lose weight gradually. 1 to 2, maybe 3 pounds a week. If you're, upwards of 300 to 400 pounds, you probably are, going to be able to safely get off about 3 pounds of body fat per week. But outside of that, you're looking at 1 to 2 pounds a week consistently is what you want to see on the scale. And that coincides with muscle gain as well. So you also want to be seeing through your strength training efforts, you want to be seeing, a quarter of a pound, a half a pound, a whole pound of muscle gain, every couple of weeks or every month. You want to be seeing that level of muscle gain along with your fat loss to ensure that your metabolism stays where it needs to be and it continues to increase and elevate, because long term, that's what's going to help you keep the weight off. If we lose a quick 100 pounds, but we burned through, 60% of our lean muscle stores, we throttled our metabolism, you got weaker, you got slower, you increased your body fat percentage even though you lost weight. Like, if you put yourself in that situation, it's a hell of a lot harder to dig yourself out of than the original place that you were in, where we had a decent amount of muscle mass, but we also had a substantial amount of body fat. So all we had to do was focus specifically on losing the body fat while maintaining or even building on the lean muscle mass. And then you would have had a slow and steady 1 pound a week, 2 pounds a week. And before you know it, you would have looked up in a year and you would have been down around 50 pounds or down close to around 100 pounds. And it took a year, but you got in amazing shape. You're healthier than ever. You're stronger than you've ever been. Your energy is through the roof. Everything feels amazing, because you did not hyper focus on the scale weight, but you focused on your body fat percentage, you focused on maintaining your lean muscle mass, and you focused on your performance in the gym, and you focused on the nutrients that you were getting in your food. So I think that a big part of the doing too much that a lot of guys lean into is being hyper focused on the scale. And if you can shift your focus to a different avenue, to a different focus inside your health and fitness, then I think it's going to be so much easier for you to get to where you need to be. So that's it. Hopefully you got value from this. My goal is to help you get in the best shape of your life in the easiest and most simplistic way possible. I do not care anything about the David Goggins hustle, grind, do more, da. Like, that's not how the human body works. It's honestly not how most things work, but it's not how the human body works. You can't just do more and expect that the outcome gets better. At a certain point, you have a law of diminishing return where everything you do means less and less. And then eventually it flips to where now everything you do becomes more and more harmful. So you want to make sure that you're training at the right amount to actually recover. Also make sure that you're actually strength training and not just doing cardio with the weights, which is going to be an extremely important thing. Also make sure that you're getting in the amount of nutrients that you need. Stop trying to starve yourself and instead start looking at your diet, looking at what you're missing out on that could contribute to muscle gain, to fat loss, to heart health, to blood sugar regulation, all of the things that will clear the pathway for fat loss for you. Start looking at that. And then lastly, stop hyper focusing on trying to get as much weight off as fast as you can, and focus on your body fat percentage, focus on your strength in the gym, focus on how your clothes fit, focus on your energy, focus on your libido, focus on your mental focus on your energy levels, focus on your digestion. So many different avenues in your health to prioritize and really benchmark other than the freaking number on the scale. So if you can shift those mental models, but then also the actual strategy, you're going to get in the best shape of your life as long as you can stick with it long term. And if you listen to this, you're like, hey, this is exactly where I am and I need some help, figuring out how to integrate this into my own life so that I can get to where I need to be. Click the first link down in the description. Take our transformation quiz. We'll review and then build you out a custom transformation assessment that walks through exactly how we'll help you get in better shape than you've ever been in. And then also click the second link down below in the description, and I'll send you weekly insights and strategies similar to what we talked about in this video to help you make sure that you get that done all on your own. So that's it. That's all. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn notifications on so that you don't miss any more uploads going forward. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.